Welcome to our UTB Blogcast number 7. It's a smaller crew tonight. I'm Brad. We've got John sitting outside on the porch in lovely Texas there. That's what they do in Texas, right? And then we've got Bartron.
As long as I don't get mine blown out.
Say what?
As long as I don't get my mind blown out up here.
There you go. There's some fireworks going off in Texas a few minutes before we started.
No idea why.
You know, it's Texas. You guys got to be lighting something on fire at all times.
It's JP trying to send a signal that he doesn't have Wi-Fi.
Poor throttle JP. Okay, we didn't post it. We got to talk about it. All the leaked videos and pictures this week. We've got Android on a silver edition. We've got photos today of the slider that popped up. So what do you think? Are you ready for an Android berry?
Me
Or
personally,
a black droid?
a black droid and Berry. What did we come up with? We came up with like 4 different variants. There was even a Knoxberry. I don't know. I have an Android phone. Yeah, I have an Android phone, although I don't claim it. I use it for business, some of the stuff that it does have, even though I love my passport more than anything in the world. But I don't know. I guess to me, I would support it in the fact that it's still a BlackBerry, has the keyboard, and it would do whatever those little 3 or 4 things that I need. Other than that, I wouldn't buy it. That's just me.
Well, you know what? Let me take a step back real quick because somebody took a jab on us online today, and I invited him on the podcast. Was really hoping just to have a chat, but he didn't show up. Well, maybe someday. This is the second time we've tried. But the jab was that UTB is going to have, well, what? I can't even remember exactly what it said, but basically said that with all the trash talk we do about Android, when BlackBerry comes out with an Android, we're going to be eating it, basically. And you know what? I'm still going to be talking crap about Android. Android is a fouled up Android. I mean, it's a fouled up OS. The UI is what kills me more than anything. I hate the UI of Android. And if something happens to where BlackBerry actually does release an Android phone to the market, I'll support it as what will probably be the best Android phone on the market, but it's not BB10. If BlackBerry were to do that, they wouldn't be the first OEM to release phones to have more than one operating system on phones that they're selling. And if it means BlackBerry sells more phones, then good for them as far as I'm concerned, as long as I keep my BB10.
They'll just be the ones that do it the best, probably, because the way that they do things. And along with that, they'll have the keyboard, and you can't beat that.
You can't beat the form factor. You
Exactly.
look at your passport versus a slab. For me there's no competition. And when I see people walking around with the slab and all the and I'm going to say it, I'll piss a few people off right now, but when I see the BlackBerry people demanding a slab, I'm like, why? You know, it's like I think the priorities are in a different place than mine. My BlackBerry is a productivity machine. You know, that it's a machine that I can have fun on, but it's a machine that gets stuff done. And the minute I have a slab, and I've got a Z10, but those are game phones. They're phones to play your games on. They're phones to
Watch a movie on.
Exactly. It's a different purpose, and BlackBerry, in my opinion, cannot compete in that realm right now. So why waste money on it? Where we can compete.
They shouldn't try. That's the thing about BlackBerry. BlackBerry has never been about being anything for the normal everyday consumer. They're not going to get the video. I mean, they have the capability of doing everything like you see with the camera. If you record something on your passport, it's going to look great. It'll look real great. But the thing about it is, you're not trying to If a person has a BlackBerry, they're taking care of business. You're not trying to watch Netflix. You're not trying to watch a movie on your phone. You're doing business things with that. That's what it is, and that's what it always has been to me.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I up until I tried the Passport. Passport's the first phone I had with a physical keyboard. Well, smartphone, anyways. Other than that, I was dead set on the rectangle, the 69 phone. For me, that was it. And really, the only advantage it has over the Passport is just it's easier to hold in your hand with one hand, and for video. Other than that, now that I've actually used the Passport, and I got it just when it came out, so beginning of October. I go back to my Z10, which I keep as a backup, and it's fine for light work, but that form factor it's just not good. It's not a laptop replacement. If you want to do heavy work on it or anything like reading, a lot of reading on it, it's not.
Yeah.
It's just not good. And I think this is what I said on the I think it was in the forum, or was it the I think it was a forum or the group. I said, the Z10 is a smartphone. The Passport is a laptop replacement.
And it is. It completely is. I mean, I'm not a graphic artist. I'm not a coder. I don't need a high-powered computer, and I don't have one. I'm doing this right now on a small tablet. And the only thing I use this tablet for anymore now that I've got my Passport is this. My Passport does everything else for me.
Same with me. The only thing like I said, I have some businesses that I do take care of as far as social media stuff, and some of the stuff I do on that Android. But because I'd prefer not to log out of my Passport. Some of the the apps are still on there on my Passport. It's just a secondary use. That's it. Other than that, I wouldn't even have the Android phone. And besides the fact I needed a second number. But again, if the Black Droid, the Xberry, I mean, if there's anything, if that does eventually come out, I guess I would accept that over this Android because this is terrible. Like you said, the UI is terrible. You can't run more than one or two things at a time, and it starts lagging because all that stuff is, essentially open.
And just the navigating through it is terrible. And that short video we saw of the Android on the Silver Edition, that wasn't working too well as far as the response. And so, I mean, obviously to me, I'm not looking at that as a production device. I don't see BlackBerry releasing something that operated that way. I would totally believe it's a test device.
Definitely.
But,
I'm actually fine with BlackBerry releasing Android. Like you said, Brad. If they can make money on it and then use that money to continue development on BlackBerry 10, that's fine with me. The only issue, and I think this is what a lot of other people raise, is they're afraid that if BlackBerry does release an Android phone, that now BlackBerry 10 developers will then have less motivation to develop for BlackBerry 10. And that's the idea. I don't see that as a risk. That would only be true if an Android or a BlackDroid or a BlackBerry Android phone were to get people to switch from BlackBerry 10. Like if current BlackBerry 10 users were to switch to the Android BlackBerry. Because basically it all boils down to how many users are using BlackBerry 10. So if an Android BlackBerry would cause that number to shrink, then yes, you'll see less developers. But I don't think it will. I don't think it will, because the fact is, if people wanted an Android phone, they can just go buy them. They're a dime a dozen, and
they're readily available and they're within reach as far as cost. So there's not going to be, if they wanted them, they would already have them. That's my thinking.
Exactly. So they're choosing a BlackBerry. Well, chances are it's because of the interface, and if you love the BlackBerry 10 interface, you're not going to switch to Android. Because like you said, Brad, it's crap. The UI is crap in Android. So I don't see it affecting BlackBerry 10 sales, or the user base much. But I think it will switch Android users to BlackBerry. So I'm not too concerned with the potential drop in interest of developers in BlackBerry 10.
I agree. If you look at the comments and our channel posts and the other articles I've been reading, and even people that I speak to daily, and Jesse brought this up earlier today in the group, there's a lot of BlackBerry users that would just rather shoot themselves than go to Android. And that seems to be the pretty consistent theme throughout the BlackBerry fans. But there's a lot of Android users that are excited about it. And that's been what I've been wondering is why? Why are they excited? You know, are they excited because they're thinking, haha, now there's no more BlackBerry that we have to worry about, they're part of our team now? Or are they really wanting that phone? And it seems like the more I speak to people, the more they're excited about getting a keyboard again. They're excited about the quality of the BlackBerry phone. They just don't want to come over to BlackBerry where they believe there's no apps and they can't bring their music with them or their videos or whatever it is they're afraid of losing.
Touching on that, though, I don't know if anybody saw it, came across rumor stuff, if this is happening or not, but Samsung looks to be making a typo-like keyboard as well. I don't know if you caught that this week or not.
I did catch it. It looks terrible. Oh,
absolutely terrible.
But yeah, I mean, Samsung's got the money. They'll do whatever they want to do. They can lose money in their phone division over and over, like they're doing right now, and still be fine. I mean, they don't have Apple money, but no one does.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
They send truckloads of nickels to Apple, though. I mean.
Yeah, well, I know when BlackBerry 10 was released back in spring 2013, or actually beginning 2013, Android Authority had done a review of the Z10. I think it was Android Authority or Android Central. It was one of those Android sites, anyways, the well-known ones. Had done actually a review, and they do occasionally talk about it. And yeah, I can see them switching over. I actually I think it was Android Authority or Central. One of them. There was a post on a blog where the writer said, yeah, he's excited. He's excited for a physical keyboard, and the quality of the build of the device itself. And so yeah, I think it will. I think it'll get users. I don't know if they'll turn a profit. I'd have to see.
Remember what Jensen, how many phones did he say he needed to sell in a year to cut a profit in devices?
10 million.
10 million, and we're not selling the 10 million right now.
Yeah,
they haven't reached that number yet.
And he's cut costs, so it's probably lower. It could be lower.
Yeah, that's true too. But like going back to the original rumors that I heard, if you go back to our first podcast, which is the first time we talked about Android on BlackBerry, what I originally heard was that this Silver Edition Passport, which I didn't know it would be considered a Silver Edition Passport at the time, but that it was coming in 2 variants. That's why it had the Dallas and the Oslo name, that one would be BB10 and one would be Android. That was what I heard. And at that point, I heard that the slider was for sure BlackBerry 10. So I was fully prepared and expecting that when we saw that silver phone hit the market, there'd be 2 versions of it. It didn't, and it made me happy, and I was excited, thinking, okay, good, that's not going to happen. We're sticking with BlackBerry. But then you see this video come out, and you start reading the comments on it, and there's more and more rumors that the slider is Android. I mean, I don't know. I don't know who to believe, who to trust. Everybody's just thinking at this point. But I could see them coming out with the Silver Edition and an Android. I could see them having the slider in both versions because the hardware will run it. It's just what do they want to put on it. So if they have 2 variants of the same phone, you know, that makes us, the BlackBerry fan, happy, and we can sell more devices to the people that aren't bright enough to be on BlackBerry 10.
It's going to be the slider if it does indeed happen. That's the only thing I can see because it has both form factors like you're talking about. It has the keyboard as well as the actual full, you know, candy bar shape screen. You know what I mean? It has that screen for those people that want that to be able to watch the movies or to do whatever that's not taking care of business. It's gonna have that. So if there's an Android that phone, if there's an Android version of it's gonna be that one. That's my thinking anyway.
If we go back to if you look in our forums, one of Mopar Fixer, he's one of our bloggers that has disappeared on us for a while, and suddenly reappeared in our forums and disappeared again. Mopar, get your butt back here. But he was saying that Android M would be supporting a square screen, and that there is actually going to be a separate branch off of it specifically for BlackBerry,
Wow.
a development branch. Now, I don't know where he got that from, and he didn't stick around long enough for us to ask questions. But it's kind of interesting to see that from him, and then see this video of the silver, because that, I mean, if you watch that video, and I've watched it several times, obviously wasn't a production run, wasn't ready. It was not ready for prime time, but it wasn't resized for that square screen. You know, it was set for that square screen. There were BlackBerry icons in that. It had the same, our camera and an Android camera that had our help icon. Whatever it is, they're playing with it, that's for sure.
Well, we're getting the idea from somewhere. It's not just popping up. So, I mean, again, somebody's doing something. There has to be some reason for that. So, I mean, to me, like I said, I could see it happening. And look at what everything that BlackBerry 10 is already running as far as Android apps. So I could see that being the next logical step for them if they're trying to do something outside of what's already happening, to try to get somebody that's not using a BlackBerry to put a BlackBerry in their hands, and then they wonder, well, if we have Android on a BlackBerry, what does BlackBerry actually do? That would be my train of thought if I was trying to grow a business as well.
That's true, and then that person has a BlackBerry. They will have a BlackBerry ID. There's somebody that you can definitely advertise to, which I'm glad to see. Like recently, within what, say the last
couple weeks,
months or so. Well, oh yeah, if you're talking about the advertising online, but I'm just saying they have this mailing list of BlackBerry users. They've had it for years, and for years I never really got anything from them. And I'd say within the last 6 months or so, I'm getting emails every time something is coming out. You know, I'm getting emails for, look at this new phone, and here's you know, here's something that you can go watch online. And I love that. I mean, we're a captive audience. They should be using that.
In the last few weeks, I've been seeing banners advertising the BlackBerry Leap and that, and even I checked out Android Authority banner ad. So yeah, I'm seeing it more and more, which is great.
Yeah, they're
one of the things. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go right ahead.
One of the things that I see, that I always look at certain sites, blogs, whatever you want to call it, I look at them every single day, no matter what, just to see what's going on, to see what hate is coming BlackBerry's way and whatnot. And I love seeing that 3-letter website, the .com, that has an advertisement from BlackBerry every single day, and I'm sure they hate it, but I'm glad it's there, because I don't care if they hate it or not. I love it.
Speaking of looking at the other blogs, have you guys noticed that that Windows Phone is going through what we went through about 2 years ago?
They are. They're changing. That was one of the things that they're trying to do. Everything is sort of following the BlackBerry footsteps right now. They're trying to run everything possible, not just Android stuff too, though.
But not just what Windows is doing or Microsoft is doing, actually, but it was hilarious, and I'll find the link. I'll put it up. Maybe I'll even link to it on this podcast. But over at the Mobile Nation's Windows site, there's a thread. There's a huge thread as they're sitting there testing Android apps. Will this one work? Will this one not work? Linking to their sister BlackBerry site over at Crackberry. This is how you patch Android apps to get the Google Play services out. I mean, they are going through exactly what we went through when the Android player first came out. And it's like, you know, they're looking at it as God's gift, but it's like, okay, that was us 2 years ago. You know, that was 10.2. I feel for them. I'm happy for them. But it's like, now will you admit we're ahead of the curve?
Yeah. They have to. They have to admit that there's some kind of, I mean, something. Be it what it may, they have to say, you know what? We understand y'all's pain now. We understand what y'all had to go through to get where you're at, and now we're going through it ourselves. It's kind of foot and mouth syndrome there.
Well, even Apple is copying Chen's strategy. Chen's strategy was to be a better you, right? Trying to be someone else and be a better you. BlackBerry was peak physical keyboards, security, and enterprise. So he did that. He focused on that. Now what's Apple doing? They neglected their music for years. And was it last year? Well, actually not even starting, but they buy Beats. They hire one of the top audio engineers and made a couple other moves for music. So they're doing the same thing, following Chen's strategy of focusing on their core fans, the fans that made them what they are today. And that all started with the iPod and music.
Yes, sir.
And they re-released the iPod when the watch flopped.
Yeah.
Yeah, the watch bombed. Like, you have no idea. If you don't have any idea, you need to make sure and check out UTBblogcast.com and look for that. That's kind of some kind of terrible right there. If they weren't expecting that one. They did not foresee that.
Well, you know, where I live, I'm right here in California, and I'm not in the fancy part of California, but I'm in California, and Google's my neighbor and Apple's my neighbor, and I cannot step outside without being surrounded by iPhones. iPhone is the predominant phone. Everyone around me are idiots, using our term.
So what you're saying is that you're walking around a lot of walls?
I am surrounded by Apple, and I'm surrounded by people who love Apple because it's Apple, not because of anything it does or the fact that they've actually taken 5 minutes to shop other phones. It's just, I need to have an Apple. I need to have an iPhone. I have yet to see a single iWatch, Apple Watch, whatever you want to call it. I have not seen one. So all these people that are tried and true apple juice drinking, mind-numbing
drunk
idiots,
on the Apple Kool-Aid.
exactly, will not buy one and have no intention of buying one.
Yeah, I knew the watch would flop, but I didn't think that the hardcore, the real iPhone fanboys would hate it so much right off the bat. I didn't expect it to crash that fast. I'm actually surprised.
Right, I want to know if anybody spent the $17,000 for the gold one. That's all. If one person, does anybody know?
I think the one person who was planning on it bought a Tesla instead.
Hey, did y'all see that Tesla could be hacked? I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got to give them credit, though. Did you see their snake charger?
Wow.
No.
That's kind of nice. It automatically charges. It automatically reaches for the car and plugs in, and it's shaped like a snake. It looks like a snake. It's kind of frightening.
That's crazy.
It's cool. I'll give them credit for that. That's cool.
That's crazy. Yeah, you probably don't want to put some. I can just see some idiot putting some snake skin camouflage on it, and mother comes in, sees that thing crawling.
That's almost biblical.
Then he freaks out, gets mad at the mom. What are you doing? You're breaking it. Well, what the hell are you doing putting snakeskin camouflage on it, idiot?
About that, the apple that you're not supposed to have, the serpent, being the snake. I mean, I'm just saying.
Oh, nice.
No, Apple has had many flops. You could even call. I saw one site. Which one was it? Was it New York? No, not New York Times. Maybe Business Insider, who actually called the iPad a flop. I found that surprising because it was actually. I understand the reasoning. the reason is that, well, there's just no longevity to it. It was a blip. It had a huge spike, sold for a couple of years, and boom, it's just coming down. So in that sense, if you look at it in terms of long-term sales or long-term product, it is a flop, but they sold quite a few in the short term. The Apple Watch isn't even going to do that.
No.
That's not even going to be a short-term gain. It's flop. Their Ping and iTunes flopped. Apple Music apparently is not making much. Apple Pay is flopping big time. Cook has not produced, a winner yet. Okay, here I'm going to go on a rant here. Okay, this really pissed me off. Because, everybody's talk how great Cook is. Oh, look how, in 2014, look how high the Apple stock went up. With Cook at the helm. But they conveniently forget how it dropped, 40% shortly after he took hold. And in fact, I remember calculating, what was it, in the 2.5 years that he was running Apple, the stock was only up, maybe 10%? Not even, and that's less than 5% a year. Not what I call a great growth. No, it's kind of like the phone itself. There's a lot of hoopla, a lot of hype, and how great it is. But if you look at it objectively, it's shit. And the same with Cook. Cook, he's not doing the success that everybody's raving about. They're raving about how great his job he's doing, but where's his success? What's the successful product he's released?
It's hard to say anything is going to be a success whenever they've had. I mean, again, it's a cycle thing. They've had some success, and yes, they have, and it's been big success. But will they still be successful in 5 years? We're doing the same thing, because how many times can you release the same phone? I don't see any difference, maybe other than a couple of specs from the first iPhone to now. And okay, the difference being you get a Plus now, or an S or a C, and it's still the same phone.
Oh, you get copy paste now.
That's innovation at its best.
Oh, who's going to be typing on the phone anyways? It's just to launch apps. This phone is just to launch apps. You don't need to type.
Well, at least they admit it now. That's their advertising. Look at our apps.
Yeah. Well, they're really setting themselves up for parity with their new ad. If it's not an iPhone, it's not an iPhone. Wow, you can just see the parodies happening right now. Right after I posted, well, if it's not an iPhone, then it's actually useful.
Yeah, it's like it's not an iPhone, and thank God it's not an iPhone.
Yeah.
Preach.
Radio. It's funny when I look.
Our new label will be the Passportians. That's what we are. I'm sorry.
When I look at the original passport that I got, the first thing that comes to my mind is German engineering. It's got that sophisticated style, the performance. When I look at it, I think German engineering. Along the lines of a Mercedes, and it's just awesome. And the sharp corners aren't practical, but man, the styling, design, awesome.
I've got the rounded corners, and I'd rather have the sharp corners.
Oh, really?
I want to check them out.
That's my complaint. Silver. That's my complaint with the silver edition. They've got the rounded bottom and the square top. If they would have just done the rounded top and bottom, maybe then I could have found accessories for my phone.
Oh, I see. Yeah. I was thinking, why didn't they just go round? In terms of practical purposes, the round corners are better. If you keep it in a loose pocket, I stick it in my pants pockets, like my shorts. I try to pull it out. Always sharp corners catch.
Yeah.
So I preferred the round ones. But then when I saw the silver edition, I said, they only did it halfway. Then it occurred to me, I said, that's actually good. Because if I stick my hand in my pocket and I feel sharp corners, I know I'm touching the top of the phone.
Makes sense.
True. That's true.
But that's it. I like the looks of the sharp corners, but I prefer the practicality of the round corners.
Yeah, I definitely like the looks of the sharp corners better.
So I guess I should get them both.
Well, what's looking at what's out there and looking at what's coming, what's your next BlackBerry, even as a second phone or as your next phone?
As a primary phone, I'm sticking with the Passport. As a backup, I was thinking probably a slider. The slider would probably be good. Because for a backup, I'd want something, let's say a one-handed use while I'm on the go, where I can type one hand, and I'm thinking the slider. I was thinking, okay, maybe the classic, but well, with the slider, I'm getting the PKB anyway, so it's really a choice between do I want the tool belt or a bigger screen, more screen area, and I think I would go with the more screen area. That's what I would do. A passport and a slider as a backup. That'd be my 1-2 punch. John?
What about you, John?
Like I said, I'm sticking with my passport. You're gonna have to pry that out of my hand, number one. But I don't know if I'd like the slider, so to speak, because whenever the Torch came out, we were talking about this beforehand. The passport's still kind of small in my hands. I have kind of big hands. I don't know, but the thing was the little bevel, the bezel, what is it called? The joint around the keyboard on the Torch, when it would slide up, it kind of dipped. That bugged the heck out of me. And my wife at the time did have that phone, and she would say, "Here, call somebody, whatever, or send this message for me because I'm driving," and I would do it. And it wasn't a problem typing. It was just when you got around the corners, you're like, "Hey, hold on, this is kind of bugged." So I want to see what they did to perfect that before I'd say the slider. But I've always wanted to try a Z30, just because nobody here around me anyway have I seen with that. And I'm always traveling to Dallas or San Antonio. Haven't seen the Z30 much.
Yeah, I'm not surprised they didn't promote it. And it's such a, I grind my teeth at the thought of that because it was such an awesome phone, the Z30. And tried telling people, and I don't blame them for the position that BlackBerry was in at the time. I don't blame them for not doing much on it, but it's heartbreaking when you think of just the potential that phone, the potential success that it could have had with just the right amount of promotion and marketing, because it was a fantastic phone. It was a fantastic phone.
I think what hurt here, though, and if I'm not, you could tell me if I'm mistaken, but I think it was a Verizon exclusive in the U.S., was it not?
It was, yeah.
And see, to me, that hurts them. That hurts BlackBerry, because I know Verizon's a big company and whatnot, but Brad, what phone company are you on?
I'm on AT&T.
See, two of us three are on AT&T, because so am I. And for AT&T not to get a phone, it's kind of like, wow, they didn't get that phone. There's got to be a reason behind it, even if there's not.
It was just Verizon was the only one that was willing to support them at that time, and I think that was their last attempt at it until Chen started doing his magic.
And see, you and I know that, but I'm just saying the normal everyday person that's out there in America is probably like, oh, okay, I guess that it wasn't important for another carrier to get that.
Well, around here, I mean, Verizon has no market value. I mean,
wow.
I know that Verizon is the big company, but here we're like, I knew what it was. I've got friends that work at AT&T, but it's something like 85 to 90% market saturation is AT&T. And in my area, Verizon just has no coverage. I mean, Verizon, T-Mobile is okay. I believe they share stuff with AT&T. Sprint, good luck getting a signal here. But AT&T is anywhere you go. We've got a great signal. No drop calls. I mean, I hate AT&T. I can't stand them because of the way that they treat us BlackBerry customers. But I really don't have a choice if I want to have phone conversations that don't disappear on me.
See, I agree with that. I mean, believe me, I'm not the biggest fan of AT&T either. I've had my issues with them, and I don't know if y'all are on Twitter, you could see where I talked to people at AT&T for months upon months upon months, and just trying to make sure when the passport was actually going to drop. And I'm sure the people that were controlling that Twitter account were like, does this guy ever stop? And I didn't, because that was one phone that I wanted to get my hands on. And believe me, I would have bought it outright. Sorry, there's a train passing by.
Oh, wow.
But, wow. I told you I'm by a highway.
That's a podcast first right there.
Oh, you didn't get the fireworks either. But like I was saying, like I'm sure the people on Twitter were like, God, this guy doesn't stop. You know what I mean? Like, can we leave this alone already? We're not getting this passport yet, or we don't know yet.
Okay. Trains in Texas. He's gonna get shot. I'm telling you.
That's the people who are doing the shooting or hopping on a train to get away.
How big of a guy I am?
Yeah, that's a target, buddy.
I can take it.
Hard to miss.
I already have one leg that's not real. Can you not?
Well, okay, back to the phone. I want to Leap. I want to Leap as my second phone. Like I've been wavering back and forth, and I've come so close to getting the Classic because I want that tool belt. But but I don't know, man. Talking to Jesse, talking to somebody else that went from a Z30 to a Leap, because we see it everywhere. Everyone's like, oh no, the Leap's just another Z10. You know, it's got the same internals, the same specs, whatever. That all these Z30 users that don't want to give the Leap a chance, and the two people I know that went from a Z30 to a Leap are extremely happy about it. You know, I mean, there's things that it doesn't have. It doesn't have NFC, but they feel like it's an upgrade from their Z30 once they start using it. I want to play with one.
I guess if it was available where I could see one, I mean, maybe I'd have the same mindset as you. But again, I haven't. Around where I'm at, I haven't even seen a Leap physically in person yet. So that's what I mean. Like, it's not on AT&T.
No, I mean it's a great looking phone, and I'm not somebody that wants an all touch, but it looks fun, and that would be my arcade phone. You know, if I had one, it would be my game phone and my movie phone. No, I'm lying. I've never watched movies on a phone. That's ridiculous.
Me either. I can't do it. You see, I'm always at the movies. I'd rather be at the movie. I'm sorry. Or if I'm gonna watch, a movie at home, it's on the TV. I can't do it on a phone.
I'll watch movies from my phone.
Yeah, I see. That's different. But you're watching it on what?
On my TV, not on the screen of my phone.
Can't do it. That's a productivity thing too, though, because I know you're always working, so you're not gonna have time to watch a movie, and I know you wouldn't watch a movie on your phone at work. So maybe some people that have iPhones or Androids don't have busy work to do.
Yeah, I can't look at video for more than maybe 10 minutes on a phone, no matter how big, even on my Z30. No, I can't look at it for much longer than that.
No. YouTube videos, I'll watch those every now and then.
Exactly.
Maybe one.
Did we have any more to say about the Black Droid or Andberry?
I'm done with that.
Some this week.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to see if we keep getting or keep seeing leaked information out there, because it's coming from somewhere, and I don't know if that's a good thing or not.
I want to say something about the leaks, because I did a post earlier this week talking about leaks again. I obviously don't like them. We won't be the ones that post them. I mean, we're talking about it now because it's everywhere. But personally, I think it hurts. A Samsung leak comes out, an iPhone leak comes out. They're not in any danger right now. They're making their money. Well, Samsung may be in some danger, but I'll take that back. Maybe I just don't care if they're in danger. But I'm a BlackBerry fan. I want BlackBerry to have control over their product and how it gets released and how it gets marketed, hopefully. Was it a day or two after I did my post, another site comes out and actually did a really good job of writing it up. I agreed with just about everything they said about the reasons why leaks can hurt a company and why leaks can be bad. But then they followed it up with saying, well, leaks are going to happen, so we're going to do it.
Contradicting a bit much, eh?
It's just I just don't understand the mentality behind it. I really don't. Again, I'll say it again. It's people looking for their 15 minutes of fame, and they don't care that they're stepping on somebody's corpse to do it. I have an issue with that.
I do too, because the thing about it is, as slow of a process as it possibly could have been, Chen has righted these shit in baby steps, and we're taking those baby steps, and we're in the right direction finally, at least in my eyes. I can't speak for anyone else. I can only speak for myself, and I've been a lifelong, well, the life of BlackBerry, I've had a BlackBerry. Let's put it that way. So as long as BlackBerry's been around, I've had a pager or a phone. That's how far I can go back. So I can say that I've seen everything come and go. So from my perspective, I think that they're doing the right thing, and you have to control those leaks, because if you don't, then information gets out, and you either get the positive that you want to hear, or you get the negative that you don't want to hear, and it's not a product that's finished in people's hands. So you're hurting the marketing of that.
Well, that's another one of the arguments, and that's an argument I saw somebody that I've followed on Twitter. I've been in BBM groups with them. I generally respect them as a person, and then they made the most ignorant argument, and it's that they think that the leaks help because then BlackBerry gets information from it that they can see what people are saying about it. I'm sorry, but any new product that comes out, they test that first. They know. They've got their samples. They know exactly what they're doing. Good or bad, it's been tested. And Joe Blow getting a fuzzy image, or a video that doesn't look right is not going to give them the input that they're looking for.
I think it's this day and age. This day and age is wanting the TMZ angle of things, like, oh, there's gossip over here, or there's a new Redditor over here, or this person knows that person that actually has something in their hands they're not supposed to, or whatever the case may be. And I think that's what this day and age is, the problem with that, because it's like the Twitter thing, don't hit send. You know, that's what everybody preaches, don't hit send. Well, in this day and age, people want to hit send, and they're like, oh, well, we shouldn't have done that. We'll just delete it.
Well, what bothers me is these are business people. These are people that they know what's right and wrong. These are adults. These aren't children that are basically doing the shoplifter's justification. Somebody's going to steal it, so I might as well do it.
Yeah.
We know that's a touchy subject for you, Brad, the shoplifter's mentality.
Hey.
Yeah, that's true.
But that's just it's the typical justification. It's going to happen anyway. Why not me? Well, how about you be a man and just not do it?
It takes a bigger person to say no than to just do it and apologize for it later, or not even apologize for it at all. That's the problem with this day and age, I'm telling you.
Okay, now I'm angry.
It's the Incredible Hulk drink that you're drinking to your right.
You won't like me when I'm angry. Oh. Okay. Well, we didn't have much to go over. That's all I really wanted to talk about. But at the same time, we have some really good community members. Not many. We're still growing. But it's gotten to the point now where we're getting to know our readers, and I'm enjoying it. I'm having a lot of fun with it. So we're going to do something to give back a little bit, and it is a really little bit.
Something is better than nothing.
But there's going to be something probably next week. Hopefully we have a podcast next week. Hopefully we can get, somebody that actually says yes, we'll come on, and we'll bring we'll bring that up. I'm thinking something along the lines of like a community member of the month. If we could come up with a better title for that, and give them a little bit of a reward there. But I'm going to say this: they better be in the forums.
Black Terrain of the month.
We have great people in our comments. We have amazing people on our channel comments. We have people backing us up on Twitter when other people want to take a shot at us today. Well, all those people, I'd like to be chatting with them in the forums personally. At least
Yes,
there
sir.
we can get some real interaction back and forth.
It's all about seeing what they like, what they dislike, wanting to know how they feel about a certain topic or a certain subject. That's the best way to go about it. Make sure you're visiting the forums. Make sure you're visiting the actual blog and commenting on the blog. If you want to know what it is that you feel or what your thoughts are on something.
If you would prefer John to be inside and not sitting on the train tracks on the next podcast, go into the forums and let us know.
I'm sorry, okay? I didn't know they were going to be popping fireworks. I didn't know the train was going to be passing by. That is a highway back there. I already told you that, Brad.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering what you did to get yourself kicked out of the house tonight.
Oh, no. There's not anybody that can kick me out of my own house. I enjoy being outside. See, I was about to blog, but I think you ruined that right now.
All right, I'm good. Are you guys good?
I'm
Yeah, I'm
good.
All right. Well, thanks for watching us. Get in the forums. Let us know what you think about the leaks. And if you disagree with us, that's okay. It's not going to change
I
anything.
disagree with Brad all the time. And by the way, Brad, I made it through the podcast without getting shot or a firework lit after me, and the train already passed, so I made it through.
Yeah, you almost got hit by a train, and that wasn't one of the things we bet on. So
It would have been a first.
it would have been a first. All right, boys. We'll see you. Hopefully, we'll see you next week, and hopefully, it'll be more than just the three of us.
Yeah,
Yes,
hopefully.
sir.
All right. Have a good night.
Take care, everybody.
We'll see you.